Hey YouTubers, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video response to RockingLUPA's different thread. Just kind of one quick question she had, which was basically just kind of pulling out or acknowledging an artist or album that was kind of very, very influential and really different at the time, kind of basing it off of that commercial. I forgot exactly who it was, but anyway, just thought I'd take a quick minute to respond to that. And it was kind of easy to come up with a few, just kind of right off the top of my head. There was about 4 or 5 artists that were, instantly jumped out. And each one of them for different things that I feel they brought to kind of rock and roll and music in general. I mean, they have other things too. It's the kind of the things that I see them for. But then I really kind of narrowed it down to one as the one I think that's the different, if you will. So like number 1 that didn't quite make it, but I definitely want to mention are the Beatles. And the one thing I always kind of remember them for the most is they were kind of the first band to really bring about to kind of show us how big rock and roll can be, like how big a band can be, how influential one band can be. That's one thing I definitely kind of note them for. And then when I think about kind of what's playing in the background, which is Little Richard, and then also Chuck Berry, those two I've always kind of felt like they really brought forth what was to become rock and roll. Just kind of their delivery, the style of what they were doing. I think they were really kind of the first essence of rock and roll, or what it has become. And I'm sure a lot of you may disagree with other bands and stuff like that, but that's just kind of how I feel about those two. So Chuck and Richard. And then I also have to throw kind of Elvis in there. I'm not a big fan of Elvis, but I think Elvis was one of the first that kind of brought like the indication of that a Michael Jackson could be possible. And to me, Michael Jackson's the greatest entertainer of all time, but Elvis was kind of the first to really develop that persona and flash on stage, and just kind of the true performance of being an artist. So you got to give him props for that. But the band or the artist, or band I should say, in record I'm choosing to be kind of the most different and influential, I'm going with Black Sabbath, from their first release back in, was it 1970? I'm going brain dead, but yeah, early 70s. Black Sabbath, which to me was the first heavy metal album. And considering, in my opinion, classical music and heavy metal music are probably the 2 heaviest type of musics that are out there, just in pure sound and power and all that good stuff. It always kind of amazes me. You can listen to Black Sabbath today, and this record is heavy enough to hold its own against most metal today across the board. So you can only imagine, before metal was really a genre, what it must have been like for people to experience this album back in 1970 or whatever. I mean, when you had your Hendrix and all that type of stuff, but when your Mamas and Papas and Flower Power and all of that was, still around, you had your Deep Purples coming around and Blue Cheer and stuff like that, but still, when people heard this, they just had to be like, what in the world is that darkness and power and heaviness? I mean, it's overwhelming now with all the music that's flooding us all the time. I can't imagine how heavy it was to people back then. And so to really bark out and establish a genre like metal, it can't just be kind of another run-of-the-mill type thing. It really had to be something very, very different than what anyone was experiencing at the time. And Sabbath, without question, did that. I mean, to this day, the song Black Sabbath just creeps me out to no end. I mean, it's just, stuff is just way too heavy. So that's my pick for most different. They did something that most people wouldn't even have thought about, much less dared to do. So, anyway, my opinions as always. Let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys soon. Alright, take care, YouTubers. Oh, I almost forgot, BC, that's a new sign we gotta throw up with each other when we're doing these videos and everything, so there you go, Sean.